In those days, it was believed that ocean air could cure you of almost anything. In fact, doctors would even prescribe a visit to the shore. I'm still waiting for the opportunity to bring that note into work. Yeah, take 2 weeks. You need the ocean air. So people would take a morning walk or an evening walk to breathe in the good ocean air. Back then, they stayed out of the afternoon sun. Tanning didn't become popular until the 1920s. But it got to be a problem for the hotel owners, because after people took their morning or evening walk, they tracked a lot of the beaches back with them into the hotels. Now, the earliest hotels, they just had bare wooden floors, so it was easy to sweep the sand back out. But after a few years, the hotels began to get larger and more elaborate. They put down thick, expensive carpets. The vacuum cleaner hadn't been invented yet. If you were a hotel owner, you didn't really want to tell your guests, stay off the beach, I don't want the sand in here. So around 1870, a group of Atlantic City hotel owners got together and built a wooden walkway along the sand. Now, it wasn't much of a boardwalk by today's standards. It laid flat on the sand. It was only 4 feet wide. There were no shops or restaurants. And it was built in sections, because every September, they'd pick it up and put it in storage and bring it back next year. The first permanent boardwalk was built in the early 1880s, and pretty soon that had shops and restaurants on both sides. Then they started building a tin roof over it. Then it all blew away in a hurricane in 1889. Ever since then, they've restricted development to one side. The idea caught on, and pretty soon most towns along the shore were building boardwalks of one sort or another. It was also in the late 1800s, the 1880s and 1890s that today's colorful amusement parks had their start. By the early 20th century, no resort was complete without a hand-carved wooden carousel. This one was carved originally back in 1927, and it's been at Ocean City's Wonderland Pier since the 1970s. Now, around 1891, another Jersey Shore favorite made its first appearance, a man named William Summers. His family owned the property that's now the town of Summers Point down near Ocean City. He built something on the Atlantic City boardwalk that he called an observation roundabout. Well, we don't call them observation roundabouts anymore, because 2 years later, in 1893, George Washington Ferris built this wheel for the Chicago World's Fair. William Summers claimed that he stole the idea, so he built a competing wheel right outside the fairgrounds. But whoever gets the credit for them, a lot of our towns just wouldn't look the same without their Ferris wheels. Now, a little while ago, I mentioned those 800-foot ocean piers in Long Branch. Those are long gone, but there's a number of other piers you can still visit along the shore. Back to Ocean City, they've got the Music Pier, built in 1928. They hold a series of concerts there every summer. The Ocean City Orchestra plays in there. Down in Asbury Park, you'll find the Convention Hall. That was also built in the late 1920s and currently under renovation. This is what it looked like inside a few summers ago. But like so many things associated with the Jersey Shore, it was Atlantic City that was best known for its ocean piers. But even in Atlantic City, just building a pier wasn't guaranteed to make you a fortune. The first few Atlantic City piers were washed away in storms. Then in the early 1880s, a man named James Applegate built one, and he lost money on it up until the day he sold it. The man who bought it from him was named John Lake Young.